Hello,
Hey.
everybody.
Hello, world.
I would like to say that I enjoy that we can hear the intro now, by the way, that we can hear it.
Yeah.
And really avoid some of those awkward situations we've had in the past.
In the past, yeah, that was a lot. That
Yeah.
was a lot of technical stuff to get that to be able to where you could hear the you guys could hear it. So
Yeah.
we got
Oh,
more
dude, I
stuff
haven't
coming.
seen the UI. The UI is awesome. Look at
Oh,
that.
look
We're
at
in like in
us.
hexagons. That's
We're all-
awesome.
It's very hexagonal music, by the way.
Oh,
Great job with
yeah.
that, Waffles.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
No problem. No problem.
Very good.
So hi everybody, welcome to the inaugural episode of Dev Punch, where we abuse the developers that we talk to every week. Not really.
Oh, we didn't tell him that
We
he was
didn't tell
getting
him that.
abused
Yo,
this time.
God.
Oh no, I'm just hearing about it.
Yeah, I didn't put that in the email.
Yeah, shh.
Well, you're in it now, man.
Yeah.
You're in the thick of it now. So
Yeah, it's too late now.
You're in the Matrix. You can't even bother doing that. So, hey, welcome everybody. Tonight we have a developer from Portugal named David Amador. Hello, David.
Hi,
And
hello, nice meeting you.
nice to meet you too. Your game is called Quest of Dungeons. That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. Could you tell us a little bit about your game? What your game's all about? I'm going to be playing it in the background here while we're talking.
Okay, sure. So it's a roguelike. Like you have your traditional procedural dungeons. Each time you start a new game, it's all different. Everything is in a different place. The enemies, many of the weapons are all different. But I tried to make it a little more easy for people that never played game roguelikes before, because it's as you probably realize, it's turn-based. But you can actually play it very fast. So everyone, a person that doesn't like to wait, they can just go ahead and play as fast as they want to play it. And I removed all those complicated things like crafting that some people don't. A lot of people like that, but a lot of people don't like it. So it's more of a training wheels for roguelikes. But it has all that complexity and all the challenge that other roguelikes have. And then I tried to mock a bit the genre with you have that intro, the story. It's generic on purpose, so it's messing around with all those horror stories where a group of people go into some place and they decide to each person goes their separate way because they think it's better that way, instead of going everyone together to fight the evil. Everyone goes their way. So that's what I try to do, a more fun game to play, not that complicated, and it's not a very long game, but you can play it a lot of times with different characters. So that's what I try to do with it.
About how long would you say it is then, in terms of like hours played?
Most people can finish it in 2 hours or so with the single character in the normal difficulty. So I'd say 2 hours or so. You can actually finish it a lot faster, but the average is 1.5, 2 hours.
okay, per character though, right?
Per character, yeah. Per character.
Okay, sweet. So I was playing this and I saw, literally as soon as I got into it, the first thing I broke was a pot, and I picked up gold. It has very nice sounds, very fluid. Everything is super smooth, and it's amazing. I love the game, frankly. What would you say is probably one of your biggest influences in terms of, because as soon as you get into it, sorry, kind of interrupted my own question, but as soon as you get into it, you can immediately start thinking, okay, bam, old school gaming. I'm in a dungeon and I'm going around breaking pots and finding gold. So what would you say is your biggest influence when you made this game?
Well, I took a lot of influences from Zelda. I know it's not that immediate to realize, but I love Zelda games. So a lot of things I brought from Zelda, like the pots that you were talking about. You have to break pots to get stuff. And also from other roguelikes. For example, Dungeons of Dreadmore is a great game, but it has a lot of depth to it. So a lot of people would start playing, and they had a lot of complicated stuff. And then I tried to make mine as fast as possible, so you can move a lot faster than other games. For example, there's a mobile game called 100 Rogues, I think. So I draw a lot of inspiration from that one too, because it's a very fast game to play on your mobile. You can be on the train and playing it. It's very fast to play, but I wanted to bring more stuff that the other PC roguelikes had, so I made like a mix from those two.
I didn't realize it was turn-based when I first started playing, and I was trying to just like go in and hack and slash my way through it, and I kept getting killed over and over again. This game can at times be pretty brutal, in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit. That's actually a problem. When I see a person playing it for the first time, usually they don't realize it's turn-based. After a while, okay, I can stop moving and they won't attack me. But once they realize that, they can have a more strategic approach to it, because sometimes on the boss fights you really need to stop and think what you want to do. So.
Nice.
How long was the game in development?
So the initial release was about a year until I released it on PC. It was PC and iOS for a year or so, and I've been working on it for almost another year, because I've made the Android, Linux, and now I'm working on the Xbox One version. So 2 years. I've been working on it for 2 years, but the initial release 1 year.
Nice, man. Well, congratulations on that. And I guess my next question would be, like I said, there's tons of stuff that looks like went into the game. So did you do completely everything by yourself, including, obviously did the programming, but did you do the sounds and everything like that as well?
So I did the programming, all the programming. I did almost all the sound effects, not the music, and some of the art. I didn't make it all. Almost everything art in the art was made by how's his name? Oryx. He goes by Oryx on the internet. So he made all the sprites and all the cool stuff that you see in game. It wasn't me. But I did some tweaks on this and that, but mostly I made the coding, all the ports, all of that.
I died. I died again. Oh, well.
You got pretty far, though.
I did get pretty far that time. I'm starting to learn it. I love the little slider down here, like hell, easy, normal, easy, hard, and hell.
Yeah.
Right.
I gave up on that. That's what that was actually a problem I had early on. Getting the right amount of difficulty for everyone. I eventually gave up and I made all that option, because some people find it too hard, some people find it too easy. So it's better to do it that way.
So when I launched this game, the general feel of it all, as soon as my first character was a warrior. And as soon as I clicked on it, the general feel, I was starting to feel like, epic build-up. And then I started reading it, and it was hilarious. The actual timing of it was like, this epic build-up. And then they start talking about it, and it's this like comedy kind of, comical kind of thing that's going on. So what made you decide to go the comedy route, I guess, on the beginning of the game? Have a lighter feel to it, I guess.
I always had that. I always wanted to make the game a bit more funny, so to speak. But the idea for the main story was when I had to make the first trailer, so to show the people what I was working on, and I couldn't get like that epic backstory to put on a trailer with all those epic sounds, and so I just went the opposite. So I'm just gonna do it like. Mess around a bit with the characters, so that was it was more, I couldn't find a proper epic stuff to put in, so I went the opposite way when I started making the trailer. That was it.
Let me ask you,
actually the story, yeah, go ahead.
No, you finish up, go ahead.
the funny part is the story wasn't in the game until after the trailer, and I realized that people were getting excited about the humorous touch, so I had to put it in the game. It was just for a marketing stunt initially, like, okay, I have the gameplay here, this is just to present the characters. It wasn't supposed to be in the game, but I eventually had to put it because people were expecting it.
I wanted you to tell me a little bit about the process of getting this on Steam, because that's a pretty ambitious thing to do, and it's really great that it worked out for you.
So the process, I tried, because right now you can use Greenlight to pitch your game, so people can go to the page and vote if they want the game, if they want to buy the game on Steam or not. So I made that. I made the trailer for the game, showing that backstory and all, and a bit of gameplay. I created the page, and for my surprise, it was approved very quickly. I think in less than a week or so. So I think the people really liked what I was going for with just seeing the trailer. So after that, it was just finishing the game and releasing it on Steam. Once people voted enough, they contacted me. Okay, we want your game here, so here's the stuff you can use. I went from there.
That's pretty impressive.
You make it sound so simple,
right?
No, actually, it's. I have to say it's a lot easier these days than it was a couple of years ago, because this is not my first game. I've made a couple of others. Some of them weren't that great. But I always tried to go for Steam because it's the big thing on PC.
Yeah.
And all the other ones were refused. So I just tried it again this time. So it was accepted. So I never made anything different from the other times, but this game was accepted much more easily because the others weren't. So it was, for this game, for me it was easy, but I guess I got lucky.
Do you have
Awesome.
any tips for people that are looking to get into game development and possibly want to get their game on Steam?
I think show as much gameplay as they can on videos, or because people want to see what's the game all about. What is the game about? So be as honest as possible with what you are trying to achieve. Because a lot of people are going into Steam with early access, and that can be a bit tricky if you promise too much, or if you don't show as much as you already have in the game. So if you have a good concept already, enough gameplay, show it, put it on video, and a lot of people will like it, I'm sure.
I want to tell everybody that I am playing the game in the background. We have 5 keys to give away, right, today, Skylar?
That is true. We have 5.
Could you put those keys in that the question form for me, and then I'll start putting them out?
Yep.
That'd be great. So yeah, we have 5 keys to give away for this game. If you guys don't win one of the keys today, we do have. It is available on Steam at an extremely reasonable price. $5. That's pretty damn good. So yeah, you guys can grab it up on Steam if you don't win one of the copies today.
Did you get that?
Let me see. I'll go over and check it.
It's in the chat for the thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
For the sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Look at us.
Oh, did you put
So
it in? Did you put it in the chat for Skype?
For for the questions spreadsheet.
Yeah, good. Okay, thank you. That's what I was looking for.
Okay. I see.
Oh. I don't know what you people are talking about with beards. I clearly have a beard. It's just invisible. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, where'd you put it on, Sky? On the question responses?
I can't edit the sheet, so I had to do the join chat thing on the sheet and then put it in the chat thing. It says you join the group chat.
Oh.
Technical things.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm gonna find. I'm lost. I don't see it.
Where else should I put it?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know either.
We're trying to figure out how you can get it to me while I'm doing this.
I know.
You put it in Skype. None of us are gonna.
No, I can't get it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Email it to me then, I guess, Kyla.
Okay.
That'll work. We'll get them one way or the other.
We're gonna figure out how to use computers. It's the last thing we do.
Too many computers, too much time.
So while we're here figuring out stuff,
Yes.
David, I got one more question for you. So you Bing Bot Boom, you did a lot of the intro, you did a lot of the actual game development, you released the game. How much more do you want, if you do want to add more to the game itself, like DLC? Are you going to add any more story to the game? Just like, it's just an update or something like that when you log on to Steam, it just automatically updates. Like, how much more do you plan on, if any, adding to the game?
So right now I'm doing more content to the game. I'm making the Xbox version and working on some DLC, but it's gonna be free, updated with the game, so it's not something that you have to pay or get someplace else. I'm adding another character. It's actually a crossover from Crypt of the Necrodancer. You guys probably heard of it.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
So I'm bringing Cadence to the game, so they were very cool to have me getting that character to the game. I'm adding another mansion to the game, so right now you have 7 different floors. I'm bringing seven more, a different dungeon with a bit of a sequel to the previous story. And the custom game mode, where you can choose the amount of floors, the dungeon size, and your difficulty. So 3 huge things that I'm bringing for in the next couple of months. I don't know when, but I'm working on it. There's actually a beta right now on Steam. So if anyone has the game and wants to try it, it's free to try. It's a bit unstable, but you can already try to play with Cadence from the other games. That's cool. She jumps around. I'm doing that. I don't know if I'll do anything else as content, but right now I'm already doing stuff for it.
Nice, man. Nice.
I'm curious about these other games that you have that you say aren't very good. How many other games do you have out, and what are they?
So there's one game that was a twist to Bejeweled. It was called Visari, where you had to match the colors, but instead of dragging the little stones, you had to rotate a cube, so they would fall like with gravity. So you have to flip the cube and rotate it around, and you have to make a match 3. That was my first game that I made. I had another. I can't remember the name.
Is that on the App Store?
No, it's not already. That was made with a different studio. That's not on. That's not selling anymore. That's out.
Okay, gotcha.
So after that, I made another puzzle game for iOS only, where you had to make some matching colors again. So I did 2 games about puzzles. Then I started working on an RPG, and that was a huge mistake because we never finished it. We never finished the game. I spent around 2 years working on it, but eventually we stopped working on it. It wasn't going anywhere. And I have another game called Puang for iOS. That's
that one again?
a shmup. Puang. I can write it. I can type it for you if you want later. But it's an iOS game where you have a little spaceship, and you have to shoot other spaceships. So let me see if I can find you a link. Okay, so I can show you.
What programming language did you use to write this in?
So the Quest of Dungeons was made in C++, using mostly open source SDKs and frameworks. So I made my own stuff, but using like SDL and stuff that you can get on the internet for free or open source.
And did you go to school for it, or did you just kind of learn on your own, self-taught?
I just kind of learned on my own. I started computer degree, but I never finished it. So eventually, I started working, and I wanted to make games. So I've been making games mostly on part time. It wasn't until recently that I started making games full time. So it's been kind of a hobby obsession of mine for a little bit.
What games currently would you say are your biggest influence? Like things you're going, man, I really would like to try to do that kind of game next.
Oh man, I started playing Axiom Verge the other day. Jesus, it's amazing. I really like the game. I love the Metroid series. So as soon as I started playing, you have that great vibe about the game. You can totally get that old school feeling, and it's original. It's not like something that he just copied. So I've been playing that. That's a lot of fun.
The new Metroid or the original Metroid?
Excuse me, sorry.
Which Metroid are you talking about? You said you like your new Metroid you were looking at.
I think my favorite. Well, my favorite is Super Metroid because I think that was the first one I played actually. Okay. But I think Axiom Verge is inspired on Super Metroid.
I think that's. Oh, okay. Cool. Oh, there it is. All right. I had to find a clip of it here. See what it looks like. There we go. So this is Axiom Verge. Oh, it does have. Are you thinking about doing maybe a platformer at some point?
Yep. Yeah, actually, I wanted to explore a different genre for the next game, so maybe a platform or something along the way of that. I usually switch for each game. I usually switch because I grew a bit tired of working on the same stuff for too long, so I want to try something different for the other one. But I really like the what you can do because I didn't explore everything that you can do with procedural games, of course, because once I started adding, like you have all the dungeons are different each time you play, and all of that, it really started making me think that you can bring all of that for a lot of games and a lot of other gameplay scenarios. I think the bigger problem is fitting in a story. I got away with that on Quest of Dungeons because I made it on purpose, like a small story, just to a bit of a joke. But on a bigger game, you usually need some kind of backstory or something that the player can feel more attached to it. So I think that's the bigger problem. But I really like the fact that you can start a game and have everything, most of the stuff, different.
Cool. Congratulations, Orbrak, for winning the game. Started another giveaway if you guys want to jump in on it. !Dungeon.
Ooh, changing it up this time.
Yeah. We switch it around. We can roll that way.
Awesome.
So are you part of any kind of development teams at all? Or are you just kind of mainly doing this stuff mostly solo?
I've been doing mostly solo. I worked on a bigger team before, a couple of years, but for recently just solo. I just hire someone to do the art or someone to do the music, but not on full time. So when I need something, I hire them, but as a freelance. So mostly solo.
We were talking a little bit about this earlier, but I have a friend in Portugal who might be up for hire if you want somebody for your next game.
Yeah, we were talking about that. I know who he is.
Yeah.
He does great work. Yeah.
Yeah, for those in the audience who know what we're talking about. We're talking about Pedro Camacho, who's the composer for Star Citizen, and he quite often does other little projects for other games too. So
sweet.
So yeah, if I had the dough, that's what I would go with.
So for the advertising and stuff, do you do a lot of the video editing too? I noticed there was a lot of effects in for the game itself too. Like if you went on Steam and checked out the intro and whatnot, do you do a lot of the video editing?
I did. I did all of the editing. I think I downloaded a trial for After Effects or so. So I just started to learning along the way. It's not that it doesn't have that much effects, but I think I got the job done for what I wanted. But I'm not a pro in doing that, so maybe the next time I have to get a person to do it properly or a little bit better.
Man,
You died again.
I did.
Yeah.
I bet it was a boss. It was like a Yeti or something. Just totally tore me up.
He told
There's
you to
a-
pray for a blue screen. So.
Yeah, I guess. That might have been a clue right
there's
there.
a lot of people in here that would be like, "What? You just opened up After Effects and all of a sudden knew what you were doing?"
Yeah.
No. It took me a while. It wasn't like the first day. I wasn't even sure where to drag all the stuff. I
Right.
just watched a couple of tutorials on the internet. I think that's the great part these days is that if you want to learn something, it's hard, but you can get a lot of material from the internet, from YouTube and from dedicated to websites. So each time I have a question, usually you can find it somewhere. So that's great. You couldn't do that like 10 years ago or so.
Right. Yeah, you learn so much stuff. I mean, that's how I've learned a lot of the things I do on the internet is go and watching some videos and pick something up and it'll teach me how to do it.
Yeah, that's mostly what I've been doing.
So we don't have any questions yet for the developer here. If you guys have any questions, somebody type in chat !devpunch, and you can get a space where you can ask a question. We're going to start question and answer in probably about 5 or so minutes. So hopefully you guys have some questions for the developer, and we can move on from there.
We were talking about Axiom Verge earlier. I just remembered that's just one guy doing all the game as well.
Oh, really?
But he made everything. He made the art. He made all the code. He made everything. Yep. So that's always an inspiration to people that want to make games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hearing that a lot from indie devs right now. Is it's just like 1 or 2 guys who work on this project in between like their normal day jobs and eventually come out with a game. Is that basically what you did?
Yeah, that's basically what I did. I had a day job because you have to pay rent and all of that.
Right.
So I really wanted to make games, so I kept making games in my free time. Eventually, one of the games, this one, got a bit more popular, so I could start making this during the day full time. But usually that's what's happened. A lot of indie developers, when you hear about them, they're already famous or they have a big game. But if you search their backstory, some of them have been working for years, like in the basement or working on their spare time. I remember Edmund Macmillan from Super Meat Boy. So a lot of people know him for that game, but he spent like, I don't know, 10, 15 years making games. I don't even know, 30 games that he made. But everyone knows him for that game. So a lot of people think that he made that game, he went instantly famous, and that went from there. But no, he spent a lot of time working, and he really likes what he does, so he just kept pushing it.
Congratulations, Gone Gray. You want our next one? Congrats. Okay.
Nice, dude.
Nice.
So where and what was the turning point for you? Because I'm sure you talked about old Zelda, so I'm sure you were a gamer before you were a developer. So what game and when was the turning point for you? You're like, you know what? I like video games. I'm gonna stop. Well, I'm not gonna stop playing them. Let's not go crazy. I'm gonna keep playing them, but I wanna develop. I wanna start making games, not just playing them. What game was the turning point for you that basically decided, your career? You wanted to put your foot into designing games.
I think it was Super Mario World. Yeah, for the for the Super Nintendo. I really love that game. So I spent hours and hours playing it. I really love that you could grab a controller in your hands and can move around stuff on the screen, controlling it. So that because I played other games before of that one, but I think that was the one that made me, oh man, this is so perfect. I want to really learn how to make stuff like this. But it took me a lot longer to actually start making it. But that was the time that I decided I want to make games. I don't know how. I don't even know what it goes into. I didn't know that you have to code, or I want to make games. That was the turning point.
And do you have like a development goal? So like right now, this is definitely, it's dungeon and it's 8-bit style, kind of 2D, 3D looking kind of a game. Do you have a goal? You're like, I want to make a hardcore third-person FPS shooter, amazing graphics, huge levels. Like, what do you have a development goal?
No, actually, well, I don't know if I want the responsibility of working on such a huge game like I don't know, an FPS, because it takes a lot of work. I want, one of my goals, I want eventually to make a platformer, but I've been kept pushing it away because I'm not sure if I'll do a good job. Because since I think right now, each time that I started doing a prototype, I usually end up making the same stuff that other people already have. So I've been just making other genres that I can bring something to it. But one of my goals, because what drove me into making games was playing a platformer. I wanted to make one, but I don't know when it will happen. Like a really cool game that you can, like I don't know, Limbo or Braids. Those games that have platformer components on it, but they have that special feeling and touch and all that atmosphere. I really like that kind of games.
All right, we got some questions coming in. Skylar, you want to read them for us?
Sure. Okay. All right. Our first question is from Super Stringman. He says, you mentioned a lot of free and open source libraries. Did that cost any money or require a percentage of your profits?
No. I only used the open source, and I didn't use any libraries that required any royalties or that you had to. Usually, what they require is that you explicitly tell everyone else that you use them. So in a README file, or I use this library, but I didn't use anything that I had to pay for it. So it's all free.
Awesome. All right, from Gone Gray, what is the best platform or software that someone should start using to mess around with making games?
That's a good question.
That's a good question. I'm gonna say a lot of indie developers, and not indie developers, but a lot of the game developers are using Unity right now. To be honest, I never used it, so I'm just recommending it because a lot of people do so, because it's easier to start putting things on screen. You can there are a lot of drag and drop components to it. You have to code, of course. You also have Game Maker.
I've heard of that one.
That's a lot of people use it. So I think Vlambeer uses it for their games. So you can make a lot of cool games with it. What else? Like more known frameworks? Because usually I use more code-based tools than editors like Unity. But I would say start with Unity and Game Maker and see what suits better. You have RPG Maker if you want to make RPGs.
Well, let me ask you Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Let me ask you a little bit about those things, the RPG Maker and stuff. Those are sort of pre-packaged game building programs, right? Like you can go in there and you can pretty much make an entire RPG on there. When you're done with it, can you export it out as a usable, like executable, and sell it, or does it require that sort of base thing? You have to have that as a base engine kind of deal. Yeah,
no, you can. You can export the file and give it to someone else to play like it's a standalone game. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because that's the thing I was wondering. Because there was a thing in the '70s or not '70s, in the '80s or whatever. I was really when I first got into game making, and you had to have when you made the game, you could make it in there and everything, but when you gave it out, you had to give away the original, or they'd have to buy the original thing, the platform, basically, to put the game on. So these RPG makers and stuff, they actually make a real game that when you're done, it exports out as a usable executable, and you can. Okay, that's cool. So And that.
Yeah, there are a lot of. I think there's a lot of highly acclaimed RPGs that were made with RPG Maker. I can't remember. Under the Moon? No. How's it called? Over the Moon?
To the Moon?
Something like that. To the Moon. Yeah, I think that was made with RPG Maker. So you can. I think if you usually I think I went through a lot of frameworks and tools when I started making games. Usually you pick a couple of them and you see what you like better. All of them can be used to make games. You just have to pick something that you really like and you understand. So there's not the tool to use. There's something that you really enjoy working with. There are still people making games in Flash, so.
Yeah, right.
Yep. Oh. All right. From Super Stringman, financially, what was the most costly part of the project?
This project actually paying because I only had to pay like rent, food, and I had to buy some equipment, but mostly living costs, because when I started, I wasn't paying anyone else I didn't have employees, so I was just food, a house to pay. I had to buy hardware. I had to buy a laptop because I didn't have a Macintosh to work on the iOS version. But that's mostly most of independent game developers, when they start, it's just living costs. That's the most expensive thing they have to pay, because that's
damn pesky food.
They aren't. Sorry?
I said that damn pesky food.
Yeah, exactly. You can't live on tuna all the time, so.
A binary. Can't live on binary.
Or binary.
You can't eat bits.
Yeah.
From Legendary Neurotoxin, who put the question in the wrong place, but I'll forgive you. Do you play any board or card games?
The last thing I played was Mansions of Madness. I only played it twice, so I'm still trying to get the hang of it. The setup of that thing takes a lot of time. But that was the last thing I played. I try to play as much as I can, but I usually don't have that much time. Even to play, this is gonna sound weird, but even to play video games, I don't have as much time as I would like, because I spend more time making them right now. But I really like board games, so I have a couple of them.
This game isn't on mobile, correct? It's not?
No, it is. Android and iOS, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sweet. So, when you die and it has all the base stats right there, would you ever consider doing something like Twitter integration and stuff like that, so you can tweet all of your stats and upload it to Facebook and whatnot?
I never. That could be a good idea, but I try to make it as much old school as possible, because a lot of people don't like that kind of stuff. Having the social integration and the Twitter, Facebook, and so I try to use only for example, on the iOS you have the Game Center. I only use that, so you have your leaderboards. You can check against your friends which one of you has the highest score. I only use the native leaderboards or so, because a lot of people don't like that, and it becomes a little too much, or it's distracting for the game. Also because the game is paid. It's not a free-to-play title where you get a lot of stuff inside the game. So since they are paying for the game, I delivered it as a, I don't know, standalone package. Here's the game. You can play it offline. You don't have to register for anything. So have fun. I try to go for that way, but I've seen people tweet their scores or images, because you cannot always do that, even if it's not inside the game. So
I'm back. Sorry about the phone.
You're good. That was very informational. That was cool. So have you seen that from? It's not really a question, but have you noticed that it's in, like, annoying because you've seen other games and other apps do that? I'm not like trying to, shout out any other apps or whatnot, but I have noticed that there are games out there, where you tweet your stats or what you did at the end of a game, or you defeated this boss, and that's, you kind of made that decision solely based on that.
Yeah, I made that decision based on that because personally I don't like it. I much rather have a person on my followers list tweeting, here's a print screen for the game that I made and here's my score, than an automatic tweet. So I think there's a lot of room for both things. So a lot of people like that, the social integration. There's a lot of audience for that. But there's also the other persons that don't like that. So I went that way because personally I don't like it as well. So you start again. The other day I was trying a mobile game. So you had the play button on just here, and then you had a lot of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, a lot of buttons around the where do I press start? Where do I play it? So there's room for good games that also have that social integrations. I've seen a lot of games doing that very well, but since I don't like it, I made a conscious decision not to make it.
Here's a neat idea for you. What you could do is there was a game. What was it called? Firelight? Or no, what was it? I forget the name. But basically, the Twitch audience could suggest things to show up in the game. It had a Twitch integration. Oh. And so if I'm on Twitch and I'm playing this right now, people in the audience could type in !skeleton or something. And it would
Daylight, yeah.
Daylight, that's it, Daylight.
Yeah.
And it would start spawning. It would spawn a skeleton, but it wouldn't do it every single time because that would get spammy. But like one out of all the suggestions would like pull a random suggestion, like somebody would say cat and it would spawn a cat or something like that. And that might be a fun way to where the audience is helping to create a sort of a procedurally random game.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I really like the content, the users creating content. That's always a lot of fun. That usually leads to good stuff showing up. We have Skyrim that always gets these crazy mods. So
yeah.
All right, let's see. From Nero, how do you deal with reviews, both good and bad, in terms of taking what the reviewer says and doing something actionable?
That's a good one. Actually, when I started, I'm gonna tell the story to be true to speak the truth. When I made my first game, I had a couple of good reviews. I was happy, so you always get happy. But the first bad ones, I reacted a little poorly. So I remember that I did the mistake of responding to the person that made he made a review on a website. He talked about what he didn't like about the game, so I made a comment on that. I didn't say anything bad, but I responded. That was my mistake, like defending. You shouldn't do that. So it's always hard when you read something bad about your game. I think it's even worse when they are speaking something that's true, because it's true what they're saying. Like, there's a flaw in your game. There's always stuff that doesn't work that great. But more recently, I try not to read them. So if I see something if I by any chance find anything, I'll read it usually. But I don't try to search for them actively, because you always have people that don't like your game, and some of them will make constructive comments, others won't. So I try to grab as much positive feedback. I just try to keep an watch on Steam forums for people having problems with the game, like not being able to install it or the game crashing, which sometimes leads to seeing bad reviews. But I try not to think about it that much because it's hard when you see, oh, you spent, I don't know, 2 years working on a game and someone in a fraction of a second, this game sucks.
Yeah.
Because all of this and there's a couple of other games that make this a lot easier, a lot better, and the developer doesn't care. That's always a a hard thing to read. The developer doesn't care. So yeah, but I try to keep a watch on what people say because I've been making a lot of improvements to the game based on comments, but I try not to take that personally.
Yeah, you can't make everyone happy, right? Like,
yeah,
you
it's
just have to-
impossible.
Yeah.
All right, we got our last giveaway here real quick, and then we're going to have to actually head out. So let's do it. We got 5 more minutes on this last one.
Woo.
Time flies by quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Last one. All right, we have one more question?
Let's do probably.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh my gosh, I destroyed everything. Okay.
What did you do that for?
The noob has one.
Yes, the Noob, 1997. Are you going to be working on a new game soon?
Yes. Yes. I don't know. Yes.
And we're keeping it at that.
Yeah. As soon as I release the Xbox One port for the game, I don't know when. I'm trying to make it for the summer. I'll start working on the next one. That's the only thing I have to say. But yeah, I'm gonna do another one.
I'm going to steal these last couple minutes and ask about the complexity of porting your game to all these different places. Because, I mean, we've got it on PC and then iOS and Android, and you're working on Xbox. Like, is that...
Yeah.
How complicated has that been for you to do with the tools that you're using?
It's a bit usually the tricky part is because for many of the platforms that I made the game, I never worked with them before, so it's all trial and error for the most part. But since I made the game in C++, all the platforms can run C++ from Xbox to iOS, Android. All of them run C++. So for the most part, it's been quiet. It's not that tricky. I think the more complicated port was for Android because there's tons of different devices, and I had a lot of trouble making it run on older ones. But yeah, I think I gained this knowledge because the first game that I made it in I made it in C Sharp. And when I wanted to, I made the game for Xbox and PC. It was never released for Xbox. It wasn't accepted. When I started making the port for mobile, I couldn't make it in C Sharp. So I chose C++ exactly because I could port it to every place. It's I think the most problematic thing for the game right now, it's been I have a different user interface for PC. There's a different one for the mobile version because it's touch-based, and for Xbox I'm doing it with the controller. So I had to remake all of the interface and a lot of the gameplay to fit on the controller. That was the harder parts so far. Not exactly making the game run on the hardware, but making the game feel like, okay, this was made for this platform. It's not a cheap port where you have to use the right analog to make the cursor move around. You can play it with you can move the character with the directional keys and all of that.
Cool. All right. Well, I guess we can start going around the room here and telling everybody where we can find everybody. So, real quick, Evil Waffles. Where can people find you there?
People can find me on Twitch, and people can find me on Twitter. You can find me on a lot of other stuff, but Twitter and Twitch is kind of where I'm mostly live, and I stream every day, obviously, and I tweet every day, either useless stuff or very useful stuff, depending on how you look at it. It's everything I do is very game related. So yeah, and it's Twitch. It's Evil Waffles with a Z, not an S.
Zed.
So yeah, with a Z. Evil Waffles.
Zed. Skyla, go.
You can find me. I'm Skylatron on Twitch and Twitter and other places too. But yeah, like Waffles, I'm pretty much
There's no Z in
mostly
there.
active on Twitter. That's where all of the stuff happens.
Yep.
The stuff.
David, I do want to give you a special shout out for coming on and being our very first guest on our brand new show, Dev Punch.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming.
A lot of fun.
I think that your game is awesome. I'm having a fun time playing it in the background here. I hope everyone out there will give it a shot. Where can people find you? And then of course, where can they get the game?
So they can find me on Twitter. I'm always there all the time. So DJ_Link. So I use Twitter all the time. For the game itself, you can find it on Steam. You can also find there's an official page, questofdungeons.com, where if you decide to get the game, if you buy it there, you get a Steam key, the DRM free version, and the Android version. So it's better. So if you have any further questions, also feel free to ask via Twitter.
That's awesome. All right, well, let's get out of here, guys. Thanks, everybody, for coming today, and I hope you guys had a good time watching our show.
Bye.
And please pick this game up because it's a lot of fun. I've been playing in the background, and I'm actually on level 3 now. And
Wow.
leveled up while we're playing.
Good
It's good. Kicking ass. I'm actually not dying instantly again.
You have to finish it.
I'm going to. I got to sit and run right here, and I got a couple more things I got to do this afternoon. I'm going to sit here playing it while I'm talking to other people. So thanks, everybody, and we will see you all next week for another edition of Dev Punch. We have no idea who's coming on yet next. If you guys are developers and would like to be on the show at some point, let us know and contact Skylatron. She's your best bet for getting on this show. So if you'd like to be on the show next, then let us know. We'll see you all guys next week.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you later.